Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream tonight. How's everybody doing? I'm going to be here tonight with Happiest Vegan on Earth. And I just have
Hello.
a little bit of technical difficulties. I got to get you on the... I don't know why this always happens to me. We're going to get it working, don't worry. We just had it all tested and working, and now it's, of course, not. I'm just going to take this out of here. I should have known that this was going to happen. 15, okay. Hi, Carrie, what's up? Of course, I can't get it working now. You guys know it's not an episode unless I have technical difficulties here. I can see you, but they can't see you. Why is this doing this to me? Get rid of that again. Yeah, I had everything working, and then I tried to log on, and my Skype wasn't working all of a sudden, so... Create new... All right, let's see if this works. Well, sucks. It was literally just working like 20 minutes ago. All right, I'm going to do it a different way. We can't rely on technology these days, guys. Yeah, race lover. Okay, so that means we have to do this. And then I can see you right here for now. I'm gonna keep trying to get this to work, but we can see you. We can see you here.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How's the volume, guys? I think for me it's kind of loud. Volume, desktop. Is everything good on everybody else's at home end, so we can get this started?
Can you all hear me?
I can hear you good. It's kind of loud though.
It's kind of loud. I don't know if I can do anything about that.
Yeah.
It's super loud. I could
okay.
move the microphone away. How about like
yeah.
this?
Yeah, that's perfect. But then you got to hold it there.
What about here? How is it right there?
Yeah, that sounds perfect. That's really good.
Okay. We'll keep it over here.
Let's see. If I'm over here like this. So I'm going to move these around. So you're over on this side. Make you a little bit bigger. And then bring me in. But then I got to put you above me. Bam. That doesn't look right.
Oh, have you never seen my tattoos before? In this video, there's like so much contrast. It looks like they're really intense. They look more cartoonish with the amount of contrast that's in the video right now.
All right, okay. So we're good? We're good. All right, sorry for that 4-minute and 32-second delay, guys. Don't know what's wrong with Skype tonight. Everything was working fine until it's time to perform and go live, and then it doesn't work. So I'm here with Lisa, Happiest Vegan on Earth. Who are you?
I know. Who am I? That's a really good existential question. I am a vegan who lives in Anaheim and goes to Disneyland a lot, and I document the vegan options at Disneyland obsessively. And
Yeah,
then I
so
put it all on my website so that people can benefit from me having asked a bunch of questions so they don't have to stand in line to ask the same questions over and over.
that's amazing. We'll talk about that. So we were talking a little bit about it before we went live. Um, I've been right next to Disneyland so many times. Every time I go to the Natural Products Expo, it's right across the street, but I've never actually been to Disneyland. I've only been to Disney World. Have you ever been to Disney World?
Yes, I have been to Walt Disney World in Florida as well. Only once though, for one trip. So just for like 5 days. So I'm not a Walt Disney World expert at all. I know my way around, but I'm not. I can't tell you like all of the minute details about what's vegan there.
But they're different, right? They're a little bit different because I've never
Yeah,
been to Disneyland to compare.
they had totally different restaurants, right? There are only a few things that are the same. Like the Dole Whip is the same, and the Mickey pretzels are the same. But they have all different restaurants and all different locations, and so all of the vegan options, like 95% of the vegan options, are completely different between the two parks. So Vegan Disney World, the Instagram account at Vegan Disney World, Melissa, she does what I do, but for Walt Disney World. So if you need that resource, it's totally out there, and it's totally easy to find out what's vegan at Disney World as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there in about 9 years, but they had a ton of vegan stuff when I went there, and they were um, they would cater to you if you just asked them, hey, I need something vegan, and the chefs would come out with more than enough food. It was really cool, at least in Disney World. But um, I'll pretend that I don't know anything about Disneyland because I don't. So what got you into the whole Disneyland thing? Is it something that you've always loved doing, or?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Southern California, it's just part of our lifestyle. You just go to Disneyland once a year, and depending on how much you can afford or whatever it is. But when I was a kid, we were allowed to go once a year, and it's just the day that you look forward to the whole year, and it's just this magical place that you always want to be in. And so when I went to UC Riverside for my bachelor's, I was an independent person for the first time in my life, and I thought, I'm going to get an annual pass to Disneyland because that's where I always want to be. So yeah, that was like in 2004 when I had my first annual pass, and then I've just continuously had it this whole time. And it's a subculture of people who go to Disneyland all the time, and it's really awesome people that go all the time, and it's just our weird little cult of going to Disneyland twice a week.
So you love Disneyland and you're vegan. So tell me about your vegan journey. So what inspired you to go vegan, and how long ago did you go vegan? Tell me a little bit about that.
I've been vegan for like 4.5 years, and part of my hesitation to go vegan back then was the thought of like, what am I going to eat at Disneyland? But it wasn't just Disneyland. Well, what am I going to eat when I go out to restaurants? Obviously you have to go to non-vegan restaurants sometimes, right? And so I thought to myself, if I go vegan, I was pescatarian for a long time because it made me seeing meat made me sad. I thought like, oh no, that's like someone else who was alive. It's a very sad thing. But then I didn't have any compassion for fish, so I was just like stuck at pescatarian for a long time. And because it was easy, it seemed to me to be an easy thing to do, to go to a restaurant and get either the fish or the vegetarian option. And then, but then it became clear to me that that wasn't enough. And I lived on a farm. So I went to Vanderbilt for grad school. So I moved to Tennessee for 5 years. And I ended up living on a farm out there with chickens and goats. And I thought, like, I'm going to have goat milk and I'm going to have eggs. And it's going to be, and I mean, we did. The flock was already laying when I got there. And then, so my cholesterol must have been really, really bad because we ate a lot of eggs, and we couldn't like eat them fast enough. And I didn't, so I learned what it was to have backyard hens and to have goats that we were eventually going to start milking. And I learned about all of the things. I had no idea that the chicks got ground up and suffocated, and I had no idea like the hatcheries that supply the backyard chickens are the same hatcheries, so they're gonna, all those male chicks got ground up before you bought the hens at the feed store, right? And then I learned that I was supposed to kill baby goats in the spring. And I was like, wait, I didn't sign up to kill goats. I wanted to love the goats and hug the goats. They were going to be my milking goats, right? And then I realized I talked to lots of farmers around there, and they were like, no, I mean, you're going to have too many bucks. You're going to have too many male goats, and you really can't keep them all, or you'll sell them to someone who's going to kill them soon anyway. And so I like had my eyes open and I was like, I just, watched all the documentaries and stuff to like confirm what I was hearing about how, dairy and eggs work on even on these small farms. And then I was like, well, I'm vegan now. And then that relationship where I was like living on the farm with that guy, that didn't survive this whole epiphany. So, so I moved off the farm and I came back to Southern California, where I'm from. And then I came back as a vegan, like experiencing Disneyland again as a vegan and realizing like I thought I was just going to have to eat granola bars the whole time. And then I realized like, wait, there is vegan food here at Disneyland, but it's like a secret and you have to like search for it. And it's on like these secret menus and stuff. And so I thought someone needs to be documenting, the vegan options in Disneyland because there are more than it seems. And then they learn out, but there are still lots of secret ones that it's really important to me so that to make sure people know about those so that those options then become more and more popular. And then the chefs know to add more. And then hopefully it like snowballs to, keep adding more options.
And when you were gone, you kind of didn't get to go to Disney for 5 years too. So you probably missed it a little bit. I think we just lost connection, but we're back. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, really?
As soon as I do a live, everything falls apart. Can you guys still hear us? Yeah, I just got a notification that we lost connection, but then it came back. So I hope everybody heard everything that you said.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, they can still hear. Yeah, I mean, when you're on the farm and you actually see what's going on, it's like it changes your mind. You can see what people are being told and what people think and what actually is happening there. So not a lot of people know all this information. That's why they learn and they end up going vegan. But I think if more people knew that, I think more people would be vegan.
Yeah.
Okay, so Disney. Since I've never been there, so the differences are you don't have like the different theme parks that you have at Disney World. That's correct? Is it just Magic Kingdom or one big?
It is 2 parks. So in California, we have 2 parks. We have, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Oh, I was frozen for a moment. Okay, so in California, we have Disneyland Park, which is like the original 1955 Disneyland Park. And then we have California Adventure, which opened in 2001. And so that's the second park. And then in Walt Disney World, they have 4 main parks. They have Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. And then they have the 2 water parks that are sort of, on the side. Yeah.
Yeah, because
so they have.
Go ahead.
Oh, so they have like 4 plus 2 parks, and we only have 2 parks here. And then the overseas parks have different amounts of like Tokyo has Disney Sea as well. So. It's smaller here, and we only have 3 hotels instead of at Walt Disney World. They have like 30 hotels.
Yeah, they have a ton. So I had I forget where it was. I think it was a Mediterranean. It was like a Moroccan place, and they had the best vegan food there. I mean, it was just an overabundance of food that almost everything the chef made for us everything was vegan. And then another night that I went there, I went with my brothers and their girlfriends. Well, now they're wives, but we went to like a special villain themed dinner. I actually just posted a picture on my Instagram not too long ago. And yeah, we had so much food. There's no way we could eat it all, but that was pretty cool. Like I like the Magic Kingdom. So tell me do you know secrets and stuff, like secret tips and tricks that you can tell us about Disneyland? I know you probably know a ton, but like what are some really, really cool ones that we can share?
Well, there are. The first one, if someone is going to Disneyland for the first time, I always want to take them on the Mark Twain, the riverboat, the big white riverboat that goes around the rivers of America. You can actually request to ride to sail in the captain's quarters. So you can go all the way to the top of the boat and sail with the captain, and then actually pull the horn yourself. And it's just you and the captain, and everybody else is below you, and it's the most beautiful view. And then the captain will tell you about all the history of the boat and stuff. So it's something you wouldn't know that you could do unless you ask. So that's a really fun experience for people who don't go very often.
And what about some of the food there? I know that the pretzels are vegan, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, the pretzel. That's like my avatar and all my social media is the Mickey pretzel.
The Mickey pretzel.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not labeled vegan, but they show you the ingredients list, and you can just read the ingredients list.
So if somebody's gonna go there, what are a couple places that you would recommend not missing if it's gonna be like a one-time thing, as far as food goes?
Well, let's see. I think that Star Wars, you got Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land has some of the best food. It's the newest land that opened, and this will actually be the same as in Walt Disney World because they have in Hollywood Studios they have a almost carbon copy of Galaxy's Edge. So that has they have the Rontolis garden wrap, which is the new most popular item in Disneyland. And then they have a Felucian garden spread, which is really good too. It has vegan meatballs and hummus and pita and stuff. Let's see. I don't know. It just depends on your taste. A lot of people, my favorite in California Adventure is the backlot nachos. And so they have these nachos they have vegan cheese and a vegan crema, and then they have a soy riso on top, and it's all really, really good. Yeah. And so there's a lot of sort of street food style that's really good. I think that the counter service and the quick service and the out of the trucks and out of the quick locations is better vegan food than you would get at the table service locations.
Yeah, I know that it's not part of the theme, Universal Studios, but I went there and I tried to get the butterbeer from the Harry Potter world, and they would not make it vegan. All they had to do was not put the cream on top, but I guess they have a trademark, so they have to make it not vegan. The initial part of it is vegan, but the whipped cream on top is not. And I just said, can I get one of those without the whipped cream? And they would not do it, so I had to make my own. But
I read about that J.K. Rowling has complete control over the all of the stuff in Harry Potter Wizarding World, and so she actually said we can't modify the butterbeer. It's part of her agreement where she has creative control over it, so she won't. So she's the one who won't let them. Yeah.
I went to 3 different vendors. I'm like, come on, I came all the way from New York, and they're like, sorry, no. And I was like, oh man. So I did a whole video on it, but no. I was bummed. I was so bummed.
Yeah, so I just had pumpkin juice instead.
It was that whipped cream, I just wanted to grab it away from them before they could put that whipped cream on there, but did not happen.
Yeah.
So you said that in Anaheim, because you live right in Anaheim, right? And, and have you been to the Natural Products Expo or just other expos that happen there?
Yeah, no, I haven't been to the Natural Product Expo. I think you have to have an invitation, don't you? I'd never really looked into it. That's where you get invited, don't you?
No, it's not. It's not an invite. You have to sign up beforehand.
Oh, I see.
It's not open to the public, but yeah, you could probably do it up. They just canceled this one, obviously, but I always look forward to going there. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And they have tons of new vegan products there. That's where I go to get my info on all the newest things. Have you ever been?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Disney and somebody recognized you there as Happiest Vegan on Earth?
Oh yeah, all the time. Every time I go, people recognize me.
That's all. So what do they do? They come up and ask you for suggestions of where to go and eat and stuff like that?
Yeah, they always, or they'll talk about the latest thing that came out, oh, I saw this new Dole Whip and I'm gonna go get that because of you, or so a lot of times they just say, they'll just from across the street, they'll say, "Happiest vegan on earth," and just keep walking. And then I'll be like, "Hi,"
Hey,
and then
what's up?
sometimes they want to stop and talk about like something they ate, or they want to ask a question about how to modify something, or they just want a picture, or they yeah. But yeah, that's the thing is I get recognized sort of around Orange County as well, but when you have such a specific niche like vegan at Disneyland, there are a lot of annual pass holders who are vegan, right? There are a lot of vegans who go to Disneyland like 3-4 times a month. So when it's that specific of a subculture, then it's really easy to get recognized, right?
When you're there all the time, what's your favorite ride?
My favorite ride is Storybook Land. It's a little. It's not in Walt Disney World. It's a little boat ride in Fantasyland, and it's an opening day ride from 1955, and it has miniatures of all the castles, and it's sort of like Small World, but in that it's a little boat ride, but it's outdoors, and it has. I just love miniatures. I love tiny houses and tiny trees and tiny spoons, and they tell you the story. Like they go, it's all very soothing. You're on this boat, and then they're like, and now we're passing Agrabah, and this is the Sultan's palace. And they just tell you the stories, and it's very sweet.
What was
It's not a spectacular ride, though.
do you I do you like do they have Haunted Mansion there?
Hmm.
I love that one. I love when you go in the room and then it just drops you down to the next
Yeah,
stage. I think I went on that like 4 times in one trip there.
yeah. The interesting thing,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
the interesting thing about Haunted Mansion in Anaheim versus in Orlando is that they are built completely differently. So in Orlando, you get the stretching room, the elevator, or the stretching room, which is the elevator. It actually takes you up, and the room stretches upwards. But in Disneyland, the elevator comes down, and you stretch downwards so that you go underneath this tunnel that takes you outside of the borders of the park. So that the entire show building in the Disneyland version is outside of the park because they didn't have space, right? They only had space for the building itself, but the actual show building where everything is you like leave the park in a sense to go on Haunted Mansion in the Disneyland version.
It's like an underground tunnel.
Yeah.
Do you know about the 33 Club?
Yeah, I've never been. My sister went when I was living in Germany that year. I was so jealous. She was like, "Okay, I know someone. And I'm going to Club 33." And I was like, "No, why not?" And by the time I came back from Germany, she like didn't have that contact anymore. I was so mad. Anyway, but as soon as it opens again, I have people who are promising me that they're going to take me when it opens again. But you never know if it's going to happen. But I don't. I mean, it's a fancy place, but it's not. I think the food's good. They make good vegan food for custom when you're there, but I don't think that it's like this experience that some people say it's kind of underwhelming. So, it's fun though. It's fun to do as a bucket list thing.
Well, no, isn't there like a secret? This is like a secret club, right? Where only some people get to experience. Isn't that
Yeah,
it?
to be,
The
yeah,
33?
I mean, yeah,
Or am I
it's
thinking the
called
wrong
Club
thing?
30. It's a club. I mean, I guess it's a secret on some level. You can see into it. They remodeled it a few years ago, and you can actually see the windows on the second floor in New Orleans Square. You can see into it now, so you can see people walking around up there. It's not really that as secret as it used to be. But yeah, the idea was, Walt Disney had a little apartment on Main Street
Yeah.
originally for him to like hang out with his family, and then he thought, I want a bigger place where I can actually entertain more than 3 people at a time. So they built that to have like a little lounge, right? And then it costs. So yeah, the first members were friends of the Disney family, and now it's like the person that my sister knew, I think had a really fancy job somewhere. It's like people who have a corporate membership because they work for like really fancy companies or something. But yeah, you just have to be super rich to afford the membership. And then, of course, there's a waiting list. You can't just, hop on at any time.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be on there anytime soon. Uh, um, you have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Tell us about your YouTube channel. What kind of things do you put up there?
Well, normally up until now, it was, me actually documenting the vegan options at the park and actually going through everything. So it's like the longer videos of being like, this is what you can eat, like a sort of encyclopedia of everything that's vegan at Disneyland. And then when something new comes out, I'll go, like the first day it comes out, I'll be like, all right, here it is. And let's look at the ingredients list and let's look at if we need to modify it. And then like, how does it taste? So, and then I'll like do videos of just like walking around the park and answering people's questions and showing new things in the park. But now I can't do that. So what I've been doing the last few weeks is I have copycat recipes of different vegan dishes in the park. So I made a round-to-list garden wrap recipe, and then I made one for the blue milk in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and then I did one for my my favorite vegan hot dog, the plant-based Philly dog. It's like a field roast hot dog with a bunch of toppings and stuff. So I made that, and then tomorrow I'm gonna make my favorite nachos from California Adventure. So it's like you can make the recipes at home, and then you can pretend like you're at Disneyland. But I sort of like ask the cast members what is in this, because I don't have the exact preparation. Like it's kind of, I know what the ingredients are for most things, but writing the recipe requires a little bit of detective work. So I like ask cast members like, do you think I should do this or this, right? And they turned out really well so far, so it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I saw that you posted about the blue milk. So are you a Star Wars fan?
I'm a huge Star Wars fan since I was like 7 years old.
Awesome. Did you see all? Did you see them all in the theater?
Yeah, I mean, well, I was born in 1986, so I saw, but
they re-came out for a little bit in theaters, I think, in early 2000s.
Yeah, I had the special edition VHS that when I was little, like I would watch. I had the VHSs of episodes 4 through 6, and then I would watch those VHSs, and then they came out with a special edition of those with like where they fixed some things, right? And then but in 1999 when episode 1 came out, I was 13 years old, so I was like the exact right age to appreciate that movie. And so I don't like. I feel like episode 1 doesn't hold up like that well, but I feel like 2 and 3 I still love, especially 3. I love episode 3 still. I think episode 1 is like an artifact, and it gives you some story. It has a purpose, but I don't like sit there watching it over and over.
I actually just watched the Rise of Skywalker like 2 nights ago, and that's the first movie from Star Wars that I saw that I didn't see in the movie theater because it was on Disney Plus. I didn't go see it in the movie theater.
Yeah, how did you feel about episode 8?
Well, I thought it was better than the last one. However, I mean, as much as I try, I don't feel, personally, I don't feel like they're part of the original Star Wars. They don't seem anything like the original 3 that came out in the 70s and 80s. So for me, I'm just like, whatever. They're different. They're different movies. Just watch them for what they are. Unfortunately.
Yeah, when I was watching Return of the Jedi the other day, there's a scene right before they go in to, destroy the second Death Star, and it's like this scene where they're trying to get everybody together, and Han Solo is like, well, I don't have a crew yet, and Chewie's like, Chewie volunteers, and then Leia looks at him and she says, count me in, and then Luke comes in from outside, like walks in the room and says, like, I'm with you too, right? And then they all hug, these 3 hug. And I'm just like, this is Star Wars, right? And so one of the complaints from the new trilogy is that we don't get to see Luke and Leia and Han in the same room again, like ever again, And like, why didn't they could have given us one scene where they're all together in episode 7 or 8, right? And I mean, if they hadn't killed off Han Solo in episode 7.
There was a lot of things that were just really weird that never happened before. Like, what are you doing? Like, how is your, the ghost of, we would see the ghost of Yoda and Obi-Wan and even Darth Vader, or Anakin, back in the end of Return of the Jedi and stuff. But now they're able to do things and like help people out and bring things into astral planes and fight as a ghost, and it's just really weird how that happened. It's like they changed everything around. And also, I mean, this is like a multi-million-dollar movie by Disney now. you would think that they would make Chewbacca look as much like the original Chewbacca. This new one had like these short, like thick, chunky legs, when the original one was really tall, skinny. You know, like in that amount of time, there's no way. Like, did his legs get shorter? Like, I just noticed like really little details that you would think that they would get right, but there's other things for me at least. I don't want to give
I mean, I felt like
spoilers away.
episode 8, Luke wasn't himself, and obviously people change. Like, this is many years later, so Luke doesn't have to be the exact same person he was before, but I feel like he was fundamentally, he made decisions that I don't think Luke would have made. And I hope, I don't think I'm just like clinging on to my version of Luke or something, but I just feel like that wasn't Luke in episode 8. So now that you've seen episode 9, you said you saw episode 9, right?
Yeah, that's when I just Rise of Skywalker. I liked it better than 8. I didn't like 8 at all. They really messed Luke up. And for me, being an original Star Wars, like seeing it when it came out, it just like it ruined 40 years of my childhood to see somebody that you always idolized as like a hero from like, you know, a movie that everyone loves, to be the way they portrayed him in that movie and the way he, you know, ended and everything. It was just really sad. Yeah. I had a lot of problems with that.
Yeah, you know, there's a part in episode 9 where I hope that it's not spoilers now. It's been long enough, right?
Close your ears if you don't want to hear spoilers about Star Wars.
You know, yeah. Well, you know, Rey, at some point, Rey goes back to the planet where Luke was hiding out on, and she says, I can't handle this. I'm gonna hide out here, like just like you did. And Luke looks at her and he says, no, I was wrong. Like, this is not, I know I was hiding out here and I was being not myself. Like, all of episode 8 was Luke being not himself. And then in episode 9, Luke says, I was wrong, which for me is Luke was written wrong in episode 8. The character
they tried to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I liked about episode 9. Mm.
Yeah, it was definitely better than they did fix a few things, and I did enjoy it a little bit better. But there's just, and then Han Solo's back at the end. Whether it was like whatever it was just was like, oh my god, I thought he was gonna kill him again, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a hallucination. I think he wasn't meant to be a Force ghost, or they call him a memory, right? So I think it's just supposed to be Kylo Ren hallucinating.
Yeah, it was just really, really strange. But yeah, I've seen them all now. That was the one that I didn't see, and luckily I got the Disney Plus just so I could see The Mandalorian. So
yeah,
I had it.
How far are you?
Oh, I finished it like months ago.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, you've had it for a while. Yeah.
Are you currently watching it too, or did you already watch it?
Yeah, I watched it when it first came out.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the documentary series though. They have like a making of Mandalorian thing that came out on May the 4th. Okay. I haven't watched that yet. But yeah, and the new season's gonna come. I like Mandalorian a lot. I like it. I think it's beautiful and everything. It's not. It's a separate story from everything else. There isn't too much tie-in with the rest of Star Wars, but that's fine. Like, it's beautiful, but it doesn't really make me cry. Sometimes my measure of how much I love a movie or a series is how much it makes me cry. So, you know.
Oh, well, then you must love E.T. Do you like E.T.?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I love is the ride from Universal Studios Hollywood. That was when I was a kid. Like, that was the ride I remember most from Universal Studios. That's the best ride. Yeah,
I went on that once. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I also liked, it's funny, but I liked at least the beginning of the Peter Pan ride. It's a small, no, not Small World. But the way you start off, it looks like you're on a roller coaster, and then you don't see the tracks anymore. And if you're not really looking, it's kind of like an optical illusion, because it's actually taking you from above. I'm talking about Disney World again, sorry. But anyway, you go off like the roller coaster tracks that you're on, they kind of end and you're like, what? Why? We're going to go over this, and all of a sudden it just brings you up into the air and you're like, oh, that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very popular ride. It's yeah, because the it's the same. I think it's basically the same ride in both parks. And yeah, the track is above you because you're on the sailing. You're on a flying pirate ship, and then it always has the longest line because it's really cool. It's really fun, but it's a very short ride. I think I did go on that one in Walt Disney World as well. I do remember going. I had a fast pass for it. I remember they have a fast pass for it. Yeah, that's a great ride. But I didn't go on. I was only in Magic Kingdom for one day, so obviously I didn't do everything. But I tried to go on everything that was at least a little bit different from our park.
When I went, so this is funny, but I'm not exaggerating one single bit. It rained all day, every single day I was there, except for
Oh
maybe a
no.
few hours of one day, and I was there for like almost a week. So
Oh no.
yeah, I need a redo. I need to go back and do a redo, but that sucked because we just were wearing water shoes and we were soaked. We were soaked. Um, and a lot of people weren't out in the parks because of it, unless they were willing to get completely soaked.
Yeah, Florida's weather is so unpredictable. It's. I mean, I live in Tennessee, and it's a little similar where it'll just rain like really intensely for an hour and then stop, or it'll rain all day. But yeah, I mean, in LA, in Southern California, you're not gonna get as much rain. But I feel like when you come, the last couple of vlogs you had, like last year, it was raining the whole time or something.
Every time I come, I bring the bad weather or I bring the rain. So it seems like everybody's like, come to California. It's so nice here. And I'm like, dude, all it's been doing is raining the whole time I'm here. Every time I'm here. And then people will they'll like message me. They'll be like, it's been raining here the last few days. Are you in town? No.
Oh no.
Um,
Yeah, it only rains a couple times a year, like maybe 3 times a year. I would say we get like a day or two.
and that's about how many times I go to California, about maybe 3 times a year. And it always, always rains.
Yeah.
Um, it's
Well,
supposed
it's
to
nice right
snow here
now.
now. We're in May, and it's supposed to snow here. It's like 30 degrees right now where I am.
Oh
That
no.
that should be illegal.
Yeah, when I was doing visits, prospective visits, when I was trying to figure out where I want to do my PhD, I visited Ann Arbor, Michigan for I thought maybe University of Michigan, and it was May. I think it was like late April or May when I did the visit there, and it was still snowing. And I'm like, you guys, it's May and it's snowing. How do you expect me to choose this place over I know obviously then I ended up going to Tennessee where it's milder. It's still like cold in the winter, but it's milder. But I had to veto Michigan right away.
It's literally like 3, maybe 4 months out of the year it doesn't snow here where I live. I mean, there's no snow on the ground right now, but we're supposed to get some big snowstorm. In the
Yeah,
chat right now, Stacy says it's snowing where she is. Yeah. So, what's your PhD in?
it's in German studies, so German literature, history, culture, philosophy, that sort of stuff.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
you speak German?
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I do that's how I make money. That's my marketable skill is I speak German and I can teach German. So I teach every semester. I teach a mix of language and literature classes. So it's really fun. A lot of semesters I get like in the morning I'm teaching the complete beginners where it's like Guten Tag, wie geht's? And then in the evening and then I'll have like an intermediate class, and then in the evening I'll have a graduate course where we're talking about Kant and Hegel in German, and they've read all these original texts in German from the 18th and 19th centuries, and we're talking like metaphysics and ethical and moral philosophy in German.
So you
So
speak
it's
better
really fun.
German than some Germans then probably.
Yeah, what I notice sometimes is like I'm in a bunch of German Facebook groups just to see like German vegan Facebook groups just to see about their new products and restaurants in Berlin and stuff. And I read how they write on like native Germans, and I can like pick out their grammar errors when I'm reading people in native
Wow.
Germans on Facebook. But I don't believe in I don't believe in prescriptive grammar. Like uh, grammar is what the native speakers make it.
Right.
And so if a native speaker says it and another native speaker understands it and doesn't feel like it's weird, then it's correct.
Race lover says I speak Google Translate. That always
Oh,
works
Google Translate.
to a
That's my
point.
arch enemy. My students try to use it all the time, and then I'm like, hey, this is Google Translate. I can spot it. I can be like, you use Google Translate for this.
Yeah, have you been to
And then
Germany?
yeah, I lived there for 3 years. I lived in Berlin for 2 years, and then for 1 year I lived in a town in the northwest called Oldenburg or Oldenburg, but it's a very small.
How long ago was that?
I lived in Berlin the first time like 2007, and then during undergrad it was like 1 year undergrad, 1 year during the master's, and 1 year during the PhD. Yeah, so one, and then the and Oldenburg was like about 2010. I was doing my master's, and then Berlin again was like 2015 when I was finishing my dissertation.
Oh, I was there in, was I? It was 2014 or 15. I think it was 2014 that I was there, or maybe 13. I went there
Mm.
for I went there I did a cookbook, and I my printers were in Germany. So I did a whole tour of Germany with my releasing my cookbook with another dude over there in Germany, another cookbook author. So that was really fun. I
Mm.
got to go all over Germany, and that's the only place that I've been over in Europe. But it was really fun. I got to go to an Oktoberfest, and they had vegan. They had a vegan tent, which they had like those pretzels that were like that big. That was
Hmm.
pretty awesome. I'm like going
Yeah.
like this, but I forgot there's like a delay there, so you
I
can't see it
imagine
for
it's
another
like
10
that big.
seconds. Yeah, it was as big as my
Honestly.
head, bigger than my head.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so have you been to Hinterhof in LA? It's an
Yes, I went like the first week it opened. I
okay,
was
yeah,
like, this is a vegan restaurant. This is like a vegan German restaurant. I'm like, they made it for me. It is me. But the only thing that it would need to be, if it were in Disneyland as well, then it would be like the trifecta of like who I am, right?
yeah.
Uh,
For those of you guys
uh,
wondering, Hinterhof is an all vegan restaurant in LA, right next to Donut Friend. Get your Hinterhof, get your German vegan German food, and then go over to Donut Friend and get your vegan donuts. What are some of your favorite places to eat at in LA other than Disneyland?
well, in Orange County, just close to Disneyland, we have some really great places. There's Kensho. All I don't
Oh,
know if you have you been to Kensho?
is that the sushi?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, that was really good. And it's just like, 5, 10 minutes from Disneyland.
Super good.
There's a place called Vegan Pizza,
Yep.
like 2 blocks from Disneyland.
Yeah, we went there last year at the expo. Well, let's go to vegan
Yeah,
pizza. That was pretty good.
yeah, yeah. And then there's a place that's relatively new called Inner Peace Cafe, and it's like Vietnamese slash Thai food, and it's like my new favorite. It's really good.
I'll have to hit that place up. What
Yeah,
else
and
is?
then we have the donuttery. It's not all. They have like a really good assortment of vegan donuts in Huntington Beach, but it's not all vegan. But it's open 24 hours, so
Yeah,
you can go and get vegan donuts at like 3 a.m., which I have done before.
the peanut butter
Awesome.
donut there, super good.
Yeah, also good. Yeah, and then they bring the truck to all the festivals too. Yeah, so those are places that are. I have a whole blog post that goes over like the best vegan and vegan friendly restaurants close to Disneyland. So hopefully, when people start coming here from out of town again, that will be useful. But yeah, and then up in LA, I go to the ones up in LA pretty often too. Yeah, Hinterhof is obviously one of my favorites. What else is really good up there?
Do you know
Uh,
the vegan chicken fingers from Vegan Nirvana?
I've never been to Vegan Nirvana. I was aware of it, and I was going to go, and then I was told not to go.
Oh, they had a little controversy there.
Yeah, I don't really know that much about it. I just knew
I,
that if I went and I posted stories that I would get flack for it, so I just go
I,
other places.
so yeah, I did hear about that. I went there before that all happened. I was there one time, and I had these the chicken fingers there. Um,
Mm.
what is your what's your favorite place to go in all of LA? I know we're talking about Anaheim area here. Do you have any other places you like? Uh,
Oh, I there's a lot of places in LA I love. Hmm.
have you been to like Sun Cafe or Sun
Yeah,
Cafe?
Sun Cafe.
It's really good there.
Um,
What about Ramen
yeah,
Hut?
whenever I have. Oh, I haven't been to Ramen Hood. No, that's one I've always wanted to go to. But their hours, even even before all of this, their hours were kind of unpredictable, or I just never was able to figure it out with their
Right.
hours. But I always wanted to go. But I love Sun Cafe. Their mac and cheese is my favorite mac and cheese of all time, and their nachos. It's so good.
Okay, so the mac and cheese there, that was formulated by, the chef that used to work there now owns, so he came up with the mac and cheese recipe there. And now he owns his own restaurant in San Diego called Donna Jean.
Oh,
So he's got like really, really good mac and cheese. He makes it in those little tiny skillets.
yeah,
Super good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything I've had, I've been to Sun Cafe, a good handful of times, maybe like 8 or 10 times over the past couple of years. So that's probably the first one I want to go to when I go up to LA. Yeah, like whenever I have to go to LA Opera or something, I always go there. So it's really good. I always liked Gracias Madre, but I don't know. I am, isn't it like Cafe Gratitude and Gracias Madre are the same?
They're the same
Is,
family.
I just found out that they use honey. I didn't know this. Has this always been the case? Or,
Gracias Madre does, or Cafe
yeah,
Gratitude
no,
does.
Cafe Gratitude does.
No, I did hear some sketchy things about Gratitude. And I think that Madre was like the the daughter, and she doesn't have anything to do with that. But
Okay.
yeah, I'd be very upset if I found out that my vegan food had honey in it. But that's kind of messed up. I heard they had. This is just like this is a few years ago. I heard this, but that used to be like I don't even know. I don't want to say things that aren't true or anything, but there was a whole scandal on it. The people that owned that actually had like a farm where they were getting all of their produce from that they all had, but they were also butchering animals there. So people were like,
Oh,
"What?" And then they like, "Well, we never said we were vegan. We just offer plant based options." And I don't know. So a lot of people were like, "I'm not going there. I'm not doing anything to do with this." There, you can look it up. You can go. I think it was all on like it wasn't Instagram. It was one of those Tumblr or something. It's old stuff though, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway,
yeah. It's hard to listen to them justify. Like it's one thing. Like I eat at uh, lots of restaurants that aren't vegan but offer good vegan options. I'll go. Like I don't have a problem with that. But then when I hear them try to justify, I'd rather not know. Like
yeah,
what I mean, I looked on Cafe Gratitude's Instagram and they had a whole story highlight about why they use honey. And I just listened to them explain why they use honey, and I was like, I don't feel as inclined to go. And it's like, but I'll go to other restaurants that serve honey that aren't, otherwise vegan restaurants. So it just puts me off to hear that stuff.
yeah. I
So,
totally get what you're saying. I'm the same way. It's like when I see places that aren't vegan start to cater more vegan options, I'm like, yeah, let's support this. We want them to keep doing this.
mhm.
But then when you see a vegan place or a predominantly vegan place that you've always gone to start to branch out to, oh, we're gonna have you can get real cow creamer now, and we're gonna use honey now, and maybe we'll start doing seafood. Like then it's like I don't want anything to do with them anymore when they start branching the opposite direction.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah, because I
place.
want progress.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to regress. We want progress, and that's exactly why I wouldn't mind supporting like a Ben and Jerry vegan ice cream. But if there's a company that an impossible company, you know what I'm saying? Something that is doing some shady stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
the only Gracias Madre I've ever been to is the one in San Francisco. I've only been there once. It was a few years back. So if there is one in LA though, right?
Yeah, yeah, I've been to both of the. Yeah, I went to the one in San Francisco years ago too. That was way before I was vegan. I think that was probably the first vegan restaurant I went to, and I didn't. I remember knowing or learning at that time that vegan cheese existed at Gracio's Madre in San Francisco, and I was like, how is this possible? It's vegan cheese. It didn't really matter to me because I wasn't vegan at the time. But then later, I thought to myself, it took me like I learned that day that vegan cheese exists. And then, like, it was years and years before I went vegan, and I kept citing the fact that I didn't want to give up cheese, even though I knew there was vegan cheese at Gracias Madre. It was very strange. Yeah.
There's so cheese has like progressed over the years. Like when I went vegan, there was no vegan cheese for a good amount of time, and then they came out with one that wasn't too good. And then, they kind of just came out after that. And there were some really bad ones. And I feel like some people that try vegan cheese, they just accidentally grab the wrong one, not knowing. And they're like, I don't ever want to be a vegan, or I don't want to try vegan cheese again. It's really gross, which is just very unfortunate because there are cheeses that are not good. And it can turn somebody off. But just like with plant milks, there's some out there that I don't like, but there's a ton of them out there. So there's always something that I do like. Same with the cheese. There's cheese that I really like, and there's cheese that I don't like. So whenever somebody's like, I couldn't do it, I'm like, well, what kind did you have? Try this or try that. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think for a long time I thought that vegan cheese was only available at vegan restaurants, that they had this secret recipe, and I don't know what was wrong with me. It seemed like this highly mysterious thing, right? But it's really not that mysterious. Anybody can make a cashew cheese at home. Cashews' nutritional use have been in the grocery store for a long time.
And that's what we used to do when we would make we just didn't think of it, but we made it back in the day. We made mac and cheese, and we would use nutritional yeast and garlic, and we would make it as cheesy as we could from what we knew back then. But I mean, nowadays it's just simple. It's I'll just go make my own vegan cheese. But nobody did that back then, and there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't Google. You couldn't find a way to do that. So, but in the comments, Deneen said vegan rally. Yeah, that's the one that I was talking about. That one of the first ones that came out, and when I first tried that, I'm like, oh great, something that's is as much like cheese as I can remember. But then it really wasn't that good. And I got turned off by it pretty quick. But one that I really like that is pretty old that not many people talk about, and I can't really find them in that many places, is the Tofutti singles, the single slices. Have you had those?
No, I do the sour cream a lot. That's my favorite sour. What else? And then they have the little ice cream sandwiches. Yep. That's all I know from Tofutti. I didn't realize they made cheese.
They also have pizzas that they made that look like the old Elio's pizzas, the little toaster oven rectangle ones. Those are really good. They have cream cheese. Have you had the cream cheese?
Oh, I think I have had that. Yeah, a while back. What happened is when Miyoko's came out, I forgot about Tofutti cream cheese.
Yeah.
It's very good, but then Miyoko's came out, and it's how that goes.
Yeah, Miyoko's is really good. They also have a ricotta cheese, and then they have the singles, which is like a yellow one. I don't know what they call them. One of them's American, the other one's I forget, but they're really good, and they're kind of like the cheese slices that the non-vegan ones that are in those little cellophane plastic things. You open it up, throw it on a sandwich. They're really good. I haven't seen them in a long time though. I don't know where to get them. Yeah, follow your heart.
I usually follow your heart. If I want a grilled cheese, or actually the new Daya. That's my sister and her family. They make grilled cheeses out of the new Daya slices. I'm trying to train myself to say Daya instead of Daya. I said Daya for many years.
I said Daya at first too, and then someone corrected me, and they're like, "It's Daya, like Day of the Dead," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
It's supposed to be like dairy Daya, like the same vowel, but it's hard. And what was the other thing? There's another. Oh, veganese. It's supposed to be veganese.
Yeah, it's veganese technically, but I refuse to call it that. I'm always going to call it veganese. And I told them that too. I'm like, they're like, that's okay. A lot of us call it that too. But yeah, veganese.
Oh, okay, that's good. But phonetically, yeah, because it's vegetable.
Yep.
GE should be that. That's phonetically what it should be. But I like veganese sounds so much better because the thing about vegetarians eat eggs, so vegetarians don't need. It's not like a vegetarian mayonnaise. Regular mayonnaise is already vegetarian mayonnaise, so it should be veganese.
Exactly, I agree. But they made this over 40 years ago, so it just hit their 40-year anniversary. 40.
Yeah, and the word vegetarian was different back then.
Yeah. So when I was talking to the owners, we started talking. He said that, hey, when I was your age, I kind of looked like you, and he showed me a picture, and he had a beard and long hair, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I had a picture of me when I was a brand new vegan, like over like a really long time ago, and in my kitchen I had a jar of the Veganese back when they made it a little bit different. They had it. Now it's got a plastic top, but back then it was like a metal top. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that must have been '95 or something." Yeah.
Wow, vintage.
There's so many great vegan products today that it's just there's no reason. There's no reason for anybody to say, "Well, I can't do it because I would miss this or that." It's like there's so many vegan products that are so good.
Yeah, I get so many people who say, "Well, I just don't. I tried vegan cheese once and I didn't like it, so I'm just going to stick with dairy cheese." And I'm like, "Okay, how long ago was that you tried it?" And they say like, "Oh, that was like 5 years ago." And I'm like, "If you tried vegan cheese 5 years ago, you don't know what vegan cheese is. Like, you
Exactly.
can't say that you can make a decision from 5 years ago. Like, that's so
It's
you
progressing
would
so
have a hard
fast.
time if you tried to find that same vegan cheese from 5 years ago. You would probably have a hard time finding it because even with the Daya recipe has changed dramatically in the last
Uh-huh.
5 years.
Yep. Yeah, the original Daya shreds were they were the best we had at the time, and then everybody's like, all right, there's better stuff out there, and then Daya went and reformulated. And I remember the first time I had a pizza down here in Syracuse. Um, this place that I go to makes vegan pizza and vegan cheese, and I got it and I got into my car and I opened it up and I'm like, oh man, and I looked at it and I'm like, I think they used real cheese. So I ran back in there and I'm like, hey, I think you might have. And they're like, no, 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 we used the Daya shreds. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, okay. And I tried it and I'm like, oh my god, Daya really reformulated, and it's the new cutting board shreds are pretty decent compared to the old ones.
Yeah, I feel like the new Daya is right up there with Follow Your Heart for me. Like for years I was like, no, Follow Your Heart is the only one, right? And then but now I feel like they're basically on the same level.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Did do you like Miyoko's mozzarella? That's my like go to for pizza. That's like the best cheese for a pizza.
I don't think I've tried that yet. I see people making pizza, but like I've seen you making pizza with it and it melts so beautifully and stuff. I haven't
Yeah.
made pizza at home in such a long time. Maybe I need to do that. But I always see it in the store and I'm like, I bet that's really good. But
It is.
yeah, it's one of those things where
It's
you have to
expensive.
plan a recipe. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $8 for that block or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you just figure
Yeah.
you're paying like what, like $10. If you went and bought a pizza, it would be more than that anyway. So you buy the cheese, you make your own crust, and you buy a thing of sauce, and there you go. You got like a $10 pizza.
Yeah, and fancy cheese. I remember when I was pescatarian and really attached to cheese, I would pay $8 for that amount of cheese. Like people who like fancy cheese, they pay. That's not like out of the. I remember I would go to Trader Joe's and I would look at all the cheeses and think I was so fancy for choosing the $8 block of cheese, right? And it's not. People act like vegan cheese is so expensive, and I'm like, dairy cheese is so expensive. You can't just compare like the cheapest, like the lowest rung of the like cheddar from this super off brand to Miyoko's. You know, Miyoko's is high end, and their high end cheese is also $8 for that amount.
Yeah, definitely. She's got the there's her sharp artisan cheeses that she says kind of like, pair it with wine so it's more expensive. But then she's got like her pub house uh cheddar cheeses and stuff like that, which is more for like she sells it a lot cheaper too. And she says like if you went into like a pub or something, you would find this cheese with like, crackers and cheese or whatever. So so
Yeah.
she's trying to, and she's making new cheese that is, because people are complaining like, well, I have an allergy to nuts, and you make all your cheese from cashews. So now she's got oat cheese and stuff,
Yeah.
and the butter. I mean, she's doing really cool things.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
met her at the Animal Rights Conference a couple years ago. She's so awesome. I want to be her when I grow up.
well, you can be you when you grow up,
I know,
and you could be
another
friends with
awesome
her.
vegan lady. Yeah,
She's
I
got her
know.
own like sanctuary and everything. Yeah,
Yeah, she's so awesome.
and she's also teaching, traditional farms to go vegan, like to start produce, like how to do it, like how to get rid of like their dairy industry and become like a sustainable vegan farm. So that's pretty awesome too.
Yeah, she's so cool. I have her book, Artisan Vegan Cheese. It's like a cookbook she has from like the 80s or something, and it's like how to make the Rejuvelac and how they like the beginnings of the cultured vegan cheese. There's a cookbook. I have that cookbook.
Yeah, she's had a cookbook for a very long time. She's been doing this for decades. Yeah. Yeah, she's
Yeah, it's
pretty
awesome.
awesome. Um,
Yeah, I saw the wine pairing and stuff. I haven't I stopped drinking like a while back. So I always think like it's a similar process to like going vegan where it's like, okay, now I'm sober. I'm like a sober person. Like it's sort of a new identity and I have to like rework. I have to think about how to navigate my life differently as a sober person. And uh, it's interesting, but I'm not really tempted, but I saw the wine and cheese thing that she does, and I'm just like, oh, that's nice. But yeah, the question is like when you substitute, when you go vegan and you find like your substitutes that you like I don't know, non-alcoholic wine, is that a thing?
yeah, they do have non-alcoholic wine, but I don't know. I've never had alcohol, so I don't do that either. But um, would you want? I mean, what would it be? Sparkling grape juice?
I don't
Like,
know. Yeah, you have to like replace these experiences in your life. Like I used to, that was a fancy evening. When you want to celebrate something, right? And if like a couple semesters ago, like the semester's over, I'm gonna celebrate, and I went to Hinterhof in the vegan German restaurant, and
oh,
I
I
had
totally said it
a
wrong,
beer.
didn't I?
No, you say it however I don't. I say things too German sometimes. It's hard for me to say things like not too German where people understand them. It's hard to like choose how German you're going to say something.
Right.
It's like
No, I understand.
Hinterhof. I don't
Yeah.
know. Hinterhof or um,
Eichhörnchen.
Hinterhof. Eichhörnchen. Eichhörnchen. Oh, I remember you said that the other day. Eichhörnchen. It was
Yeah,
perfect.
that
Yeah.
everybody was like, that's what they all taught me when I went over to Germany. They're like, squirrel, Eichhörnchen.
Yeah.
That's all I could say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
And
so it's like celebrating in the semester means going to Hinterhof and getting a beer, an imported German beer that I can't normally get, and celebrating, right? And so it's like I have to replace the last 6 months have been like thinking about I'm replacing these types of celebrations with things that don't involve alcohol, which you can totally do, It doesn't make you it doesn't mean that you can't like have these celebration type like I wanted to feel festive. That's all I really wanted alcohol for is I wanted to feel festive, right?
so, what you're doing this now, so it's like a new, like, I don't know, like a new chapter in your life where, so is it like a nuisance to you? Is it an inconvenience, or is it like a kind of something that's fun, to figure out how you're going to do things now?
Yeah. You mean not drinking anymore, or?
Right, right.
Yeah. I mean, I had been trying to stop drinking for years. Like I was pretty suspicious of my own habits for years. I didn't, you know how people ask themselves if they're alcoholics, like, I don't know, I think I'm not an alcoholic, right? Because I don't do this and I'm not in the park with a paper bag, And so, but I felt like I liked it too much. I liked it. And if it's a certain thing you like too much, you just probably got to step away. And I decided I needed to quit while I was ahead because I could have put myself in a dangerous situation. So it was quit while you're ahead mentality.
Well, that's awesome. Congrats that you did that. Um, I was saying like for like when I was younger and I first went vegetarian and then later vegan. For me, the way I saw it was like, this is my life is different now. It's kind of going to be a challenge, but I didn't look at it as anything negative. I looked at it as like, okay, well, let's make this fun. It was like, to me, it was a fun challenge. And, I had to figure out what was vegan, what wasn't, the ingredient list and what I could get, and then how I could make my food. So for me, it was like a whole new learning experience, but I always looked at it in a positive way. Is that anything how you're looking at this?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel so much better not drink. I had like the worst hangovers. I feel like being sober is a gift I've given to myself. So I had these horrible hangovers and they got worse and worse. I would have like 3 beers and then the next day wake up with this hangover, this anxiety fueled hangover where it was terrifying. I was just terrified all day for a day after having 3 beers. And I'm like, and so as soon as I stopped drinking, I was like, do I really have anxiety, or is it just like I cannot handle this, the feeling of the hangover I felt one step closer to death. And then think about my mortality and how I'm going to die one day. And it's just not good. And, yeah, I mean, it's only been like, I guess 6 months since the last time I drank, but it feels like that same sort of, fundamental shift in my thinking, similar to when I went vegan, where I don't see alcohol as potable anymore. I don't see animal products as edible. Like they're not, when I see when I see an animal product, it might as well be a rock. I don't register it as edible. And then when I see alcohol now, I see it as sort of a disinfectant cleaner. Like I use 70% isopropyl alcohol to clean my apartment, right? I spray down my counters with alcohol, and when I smell it, I'm like, I used to drink that, and it's a disinfectant. It's for cleaning. No, it's not for drinking.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. I don't know. I would always hear people say that, hey, I drank and now I got this horrible hangover, and I'm like, yeah, I don't ever want to be in that situation where I'm just giving myself hangovers to have fun the night before. And also I just never wanted to lose my state of mind. So I just never wanted to do it. I don't like feeling sick.
Yeah. When I was younger, I didn't really get hangovers. I remember being like 21, 22, and I would drink as much as I could. And then the next day I would be like, oh, I don't really have a hangover. Maybe I'm just a special person who doesn't get hangovers. Something about me, something about my body. I just don't get hangovers. And then I got to be like 26, 27. I was like, oh no, I wasn't special. I was just 22.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, but I
22.
mean, I know 22 was fun, but I feel so much better now, and I want to live as long as I can. And if I really care about living as long as I can, I'm not gonna keep ingesting a carcinogen. And if I'm gonna tell people to not eat bacon because it's a carcinogen, and I don't. But the thing is, I don't. There is one fundamental difference. The way I view alcohol versus the way I view animal products is that I don't have a problem with other people drinking alcohol. Like I can sit there and watch someone drink,
Yeah, there's no
and I
victim.
have no feelings about it. Yeah, there's no victim. I have no feelings about other people drinking. If they want to drink in front of me, like I literally don't care. I mean, I care if they try to get me to drink, then of course I care. But otherwise, like it's not a moral problem for other people to drink. People who don't question whether their behaviors. Some people can really drink and they don't, and it's not a problem. So I'm not one of those people, right? If I were one of those people, I guess I would drink, but I'm not. So yeah, it's a very different attitude towards the way, when other people consume animal products, then it is upsetting to me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't want to make people just assume that I have problems with other people that drink. It's like purely a personal choice for me, and all of my friends and relatives, they all drink. I would say that, yeah, I mean, if somebody's going to get belligerent drunk, then I probably don't want to be hanging out with them for too long. But, just drinking I don't have any problem with people doing that. Somebody wanted to know how long I've known Miyoko. I've known Miyoko probably for, I don't know, 6, 7 years. I first met her at a Vega party. She came in with a little tray of cheese and she wanted everybody to try it out, and that's how I first met her. But then after that, we both were chefs that presented on a vegan cruise, and I really got to know her then. We hiked up in the Alaskan mountains and went to the Caribbean. And it always falls around her birthday, so we celebrate with Miyoko, and yeah, she's cool. How
Wow, you
hot
guys are
is it in
besties.
Anaheim? What were you saying?
It's so hot. You and Miyoko are besties.
Yeah, kinda.
That's
I've
awesome.
been to her old facility. I haven't been to her new one. I'd like to do a tour of her new one where she makes all of her vegan cheese. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Anaheim is and burning up here. It's like high 80s. I feel like it was maybe 90 today.
Oh, that's too hot.
Um, yeah, so it was weird. Like I went to the grocery store today, and the last time I went to the grocery store, I was wearing a sweater because it was like a little bit chillier. It was like, low 70s. It was chilly for me. So, but then I went to the grocery store in a tank top right now, and I had a mask on. One of my followers sent me this awesome mask that is with a Frozen fabric. So it was, it's like Frozen. It has Anna and Elsa and Kristoff and Sven on the fabric. And so I've got this Frozen mask on with the characters on it, and then I've got my sleeve out because I was actually like, wearing a tank top, and people were looking at me and they're like, sometimes I think like, how does it look when they see this like 33-year-old woman with a giant Disney sleeve and like wearing. So it was pretty.
Yeah, it's so much. It's 30 degrees here, 35 degrees here right now. So there's a huge difference. Oh, what was that?
Yeah. Oh, that was Wait, it's muted. Oh yeah, thought I had my whole computer muted. It's muted now.
I see you're wearing a Compassion Co. shirt.
Yeah, it's the what do you call this guy? The gorilla. It's the
Yeah,
vegan gorilla.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
that, but it's not. The arms aren't cut off like yours.
Yeah, it's the muscle tee. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
got this one not too long ago. Um, yeah,
Let's see. Let's see. Let's show everybody at home your tattoos if you're, unless you don't wanna.
oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, my sleeve is all the Frozen. So it's the original idea was this tattooer. She only does Disney, and I was on the wait list for like a year and a half. She's like very hard to get in with. So I brought her the idea that I wanted to have Olaf with a Dole Whip. Do you know Frozen at all?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't see the second one, but my niece loves Frozen. I even sang it in a video.
Hmm? Can you hear me still?
I can still hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so he's got his Dole Whip, and then the tattooer said, "Why don't we do a whole sleeve where we put all of the characters in on Hawaiian vacation mode?" So they're all in Hawaiian outfits. So Elsa's got her Hawaiian outfit, and she's got like plumeria flowers instead of snowflakes, and then the reindeer has a lei on.
Oh, that's cool. Do you have
So,
like little kids come up and be like, "I like your tattoos"?
oh
Like
yeah,
that.
Disneyland all the time.
That's so
Well,
cool.
mostly adults. What happens a lot is there's like a parent and a kid, and the parent will say, "Hey, look at that girl's tattoos," and then they'll be like, "See, that's Elsa and that's Anna," and the kid's like, "Oh, that's cool," but the parents like fawn over the tattoo, and the kids are like, "Oh, I like it. It's
I want
fine."
to get one, mom, and they're like, "No, it's a tattoo. No."
Yeah, I think the kids don't understand the permanence of like they don't have a sense of time. Like, what is your lifetime? And having something for the rest of your life, they don't really understand that. And so they don't understand the commitment, what it means to have your whole arm dedicated to one Disney movie.
Yeah. Someday I'll have mine committed to like horror themed or some 80s movies that I like or something, but I got to figure it out. I got to figure out, do I want this for the rest of my life or do I want to wait another 50 years? So, uh,
Yeah.
you have another tattoo too on your other arm?
Yeah, I have a Bob Ross tattoo over here. Do you remember the painter on
Bob
TV, Bob
Ross?
Ross?
Yep.
Yeah, so I have a squirrel. Ich habe ein Eichhörnchen. No.
I Eichhörnchen.
Ja, ich habe hier ein Eichhörnchen und er
Eichhörnchen.
sitzt auf einem Baum. Yeah. So, yeah, it's the squirrel and then trees and clouds and stuff. And there's a whole there's a mountain on the back and everything. So I started painting with Bob Ross when I was like in high school, I guess. I never met him in real life, but I
Oh,
started painting with his TV show. Um, so yeah, I love to paint. I still paint sometimes, but I used to paint a lot of landscapes. But I just even independently of the art, I mean they're beautiful landscapes, but it's not like high art or anything. But Bob Ross' philosophy on life is really what makes me identify. He's someone I always want to be reminded of.
Race Lover in the comments is lying again. I just want everybody to know that he's lying. He says Elf is better than ET. That's not true. Stop lying. Elf is not better than E.T.
I forgot about Alf.
Elf loves cats, and not in a good way.
Oh no. I never watched that since I was a kid. I remember like I have big memories of watching that when I was a kid, but I don't I
Yeah, he
couldn't
used to
tell you
eat
much about
cats.
him. He would eat cats. That's
Yeah,
so
he loved
horrible.
cats.
Yeah. Alf.
Um,
So he was an alien.
well, we've gone over an hour so far. Is there anything else you'd like to add to the stream, to the chat? Does anybody
Um,
at home have any comment or questions for Lisa? Elf, stop eating the
are the
cat.
I know. Are the no, the tattoos are not from the same artist. They're from this one is by Miss May. She lives in Central California and she only does Disney. So I finished this tattoos maybe 3 years ago. We finished it 2, 3 years ago. And then this tattoo is over like 10. This tattoo is like 10 years old. So I got this done in Nashville by an artist who used to live there. But she's not famous or anything. She just does pretty good nature stuff. So yeah, she's not really. But she did a great job. Yeah, and then I have more on my ankles and stuff. I like tattoos a lot. I find the whole experience very soothing. It's like going to a spa.
Do you know
It's
who this
addictive.
is? This
Hmm?
is that's when I was in Disney. She got a picture with her. Actually, she grabbed me and got a picture with me.
Is that I mean, is she's a cast member who works at
Yeah, the villain.
um no, I don't know a lot of the performers. How long ago was that?
Oh, this is like 10 years ago, 9 years ago. No, I don't mean do you know her personally? Do you know the character that she's playing?
Oh, yeah, that's Lady Tremaine
Yeah,
from
that's what I was wondering. If you know. Yeah.
yeah. I thought you meant because I know a lot of cast members. I thought you wanted to know if I knew that
Oh,
cast member.
okay.
That
So,
character integrity though. That's obviously Lady Tremaine. That's not another actress. That is her, Lady Tremaine. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it true that the actors are not ever supposed to break character?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I mean because it's not that they're playing this is one thing, it's just a little language thing, but they're not allowed to say that they are the character, that they play the character. Like if you ask them what they do at Disneyland, they'll say, "Well, I hang out with Ariel or I hang out with Lady Tremaine." They're not allowed to say I play Ariel because the character integrity, like or Mickey is Mickey. It's not that someone is playing Mickey, right? So yeah, I don't think there's any temptation for them to break character.
Well, I just said this because somebody that when I was at Disney World, she started talking to us, and then um, she started talking about how like her house burnt down, her son burned her house down, and she just was like way out of character, and she was smoking a cigarette, and I was like, wow, this is weird. Like it was over by the Sword in the Stone. I still remember it, and she was. Isn't there like a witch, like a good witch in Cinderella or something? Or there's a good
Uh,
witch.
there's
She
Fairy
that was who
Godmother.
it was. Yeah, yeah, that's who it was, and she was way out of character. I mean, we just thought it was funny.
Was
Anyway,
it so? It was a villains. It was like an after dark event for villains.
well, no, that was the picture that I showed you, but then during like the daytime, not at that event, at one of the parks, we ran into her and she started talking to us, and then she just went way out of character and started like really
Oh,
talking to us. Yeah.
oh, that's funny.
Um,
Yeah.
Vegan Lee, thank you for the $5 super chat. Vegan Lee says, "Nice interview, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate that." Do I see a 501? Oh yeah, the fairy godmother. That's who it was. Thank you, Linda fan.
Yeah, you can meet her a lot in the park. Fairy Godmother is hangs out near the castle quite often lately.
She was
Yeah,
smoking. Not
she
making
was
this up.
smoking.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody I
That's so,
with can verify that.
yeah, yeah. You don't have any tattoos yet,
Um,
right?
technically, yes, I do have one, but It's just a little tiny one that I did myself the day I went vegetarian. It's on my hand.
Oh, is it's still there after all this time on your hand?
Yeah, I mean that's what happens with tattoos. They stay
Yeah, we
forever.
usually on your, it depends on the part of the hand, but palm tattoos will
Oh, well,
usually rub off. Is it on
yeah,
the back of
because
your
of a
hand or?
callus. Yeah, well, this is right here on this side. It's on my outside of my hand,
Oh, okay.
and it's just a Japanese character.
Wow, you're hardcore to tattoo yourself.
Yeah, it hurt. I took a little needle, me and my friend, and we dipped it in ink, and we just it was all infected and all kinds of stuff. I was only
Oh, it got
14.
infected?
Pretty much, yeah. And then my mom lectured me. She's like, Christopher, you're going to give yourself blood poisoning. I'm like, well, it's too late now.
Yeah, a lot of times home tattoos, what do they call them? Stick and pokes. A lot of times they fade so much that they're basically not there anymore after a few years. So that means if it's there, like what is that, 20 something years ago?
No, 30 years ago.
Right. Yeah, so the fact that you can see it all
I can
when
still
it's a
see it
stick
as
and
good
poke,
as it's deep.
yeah, that means you did a good job because most people, that would be basically a very light blob for most people at that point.
I didn't even use a tattoo gun for that. So here's a good question. Jorge wants to know, how long have you and I known each other for? We've known each other for about an hour and 21 minutes. We've never met. We've never met before. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard to see, like a close-up shot. I don't know. It's really hard to. You can't really tell. I'd have to show you a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Actually, just Google Nin Po. That's what it should be. It's the blade over the heart. Yeah, it hurt. I put a needle into my hand. And there's a lot of nerves right here. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, did you use a tattoo machine or did you just use needle?
I used a sewing needle. My mom's sewing needle. I used a needle, and I had a soda cap that we poured India ink in, and we just dipped it in and tattooed ourselves. And then technically I was playing with the needle afterwards, and I was pushing down on it, and it broke, and it went into my finger. So I technically have a tattoo right there too. Still there, that little dot. Yeah, it was a sewing needle.
That's funny. You know what happened actually? I have a tiny one on my finger from when I was getting my sleeve done. And I wonder if you can see, you probably can't see with the resolution I have now, but I have a tiny one basically just like that. It's a little piece of purple because she was doing Christoph's shirt, and I must have had a scrape on my hand from something. I must have scraped my knuckle, and then I got home and I realized there was like the ink gets everywhere. There's always like ink all up on your hands and arms and different places. It just smudged everywhere. And I was trying to rub it off, and I realized that like a little bit of purple ink got in my finger, and now I have a tiny purple bit on my finger from here.
That's really strange. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So technically, I have a hand tattoo. I'm hardcore with my hand tattoo.
We both kind of do. You got one on your finger, and I got one on my finger.
Yeah, unintentional hand tattoo. I always wondered if it's going to be quite bad.
Jorge wants to know if I have any piercings. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've had so many piercings that didn't heal properly and they went away. I used to have an industrial, and I have one right here. I used to have an industrial on this side. I was hardcore for like 3 months trying to heal it, and it wouldn't heal. It just wouldn't. It's so sad. I always wanted more, but I don't know. It's too hard to heal. Plus, I do a lot of circus, and it's you just can't. It's really hard when you do circus. It's really hard to heal. Like when your props are touching all the parts of your body, you're gonna whack yourself in the face at some point. So
wait, what do you do? Circus?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I do mostly. I started doing hula hoops, and then when I was in Berlin the last time, I went to circus school and learned. Yeah, so I do. I mostly do hula hoops, and then I've started in last year doing more aerial apparatus.
Oh, that's cool. Where
Yeah.
do you do that? Do you do it at home or do you go somewhere to do that?
I mean, my hoops obviously I do at home, and then I have a studio I go to for aerials, but not right now. Yeah, but it's pretty fun. I mean, that's where I get all my muscles. So it's a really fun. I can't really do regular exercise. Like the idea of working out just for the sake of working out, like I don't have the motivation. I need to like have a workout where I'm learning new tricks and I'm like developing a skill that gives me the adrenaline of learning a new trick where it's like, yes, I got the trick. I hit myself in the face 10 times and then I got the trick and now I have the trick and I can build it. I used to perform in small circuses a lot. So yeah, that's why like this is kind of a thing for, most modern circuses don't use animals. It's like these old-fashioned type circuses that are still holding on to the animal acts. But that modern circus, like Cirque Nouveau, like the real, like Cirque du Soleil style, one of the defining features of modern circus is that it doesn't use animals, right? So when I hear there's like when vegans will say like end the circus, vegans will say like they want circuses to end or like you know boycott circuses. I'm just like there's some nuance there. Like I don't circus is important to me and I love doing circus and it makes me sad when I hear people say that they want to close all circuses. I'm just
Yeah,
like
they need to, I guess, be more educated and be more clear and specific of what they're trying to do.
yeah, they just if you don't know that much about circus, of course you think of the elephants first, right? But to me real circus is just with the hoopers and the jugglers and the contortionists and the trapeze and it's like that's circus to me, right?
Everybody's saying you're really good with hula hoops. It's on your Instagram.
Yeah, I ended up I used to have a whole Instagram just for my performance stuff, but I don't perform that much anymore, so I didn't really have that much to put up there. And so and of course, my Instagram that I have now for Disneyland grew way more than I expected it to. So it ended up being more time consuming. It's hard to maintain two of them. So basically, whenever I perform or whenever I want to post circus stuff, I put it into a story highlight on my regular Instagram. So it's not really related to the content of the vegan stuff at Disneyland, but people really like watching the stories. I don't know. So I keep putting them up sometimes when people like watching them.
I used to live near a circus school. I used to live in Sarasota, and they had Ringling there. I guess that's where Steve-O went. Um,
Steve-O.
yes, do you know who Steve-O is?
I know he was on that Jackass show, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
he went
Steve-O.
to he knows circus? He what?
Yeah, that's how he started out. He started in the circus, and then he started
Whoa,
doing
I had
all
no
that.
idea.
Yeah, yeah, go check it out if you're interested. Um,
Yeah, I guess that's where he learned to do stunts and stuff, or
yeah, that's how yeah,
huh?
definitely helped him out. He's
I never knew that.
he's took it to a whole other level, but all
Do
right,
you know him?
I don't. No, I never met him.
Yeah. Linda's here. Hello, Linda. I'm shocked. I didn't know about Steve-O being connected to circus.
So let's do. Okay, so tell me your favorite food.
Oh, my favorite food like ever
Yeah.
or Disneyland?
No, no, your favorite food.
My favorite food is probably pho soup. Like any of those Vietnamese soups with noodles in them. Like that there are various iterations of those.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, hot Vietnamese soup with noodles in all of its forms. That's my favorite food.
You should definitely try the just because it's very similar to what you're saying. The ramen hood. Go to ramen hood sometime when
Yeah,
it's open. Try that out because you got a good one near you. Um,
yeah.
Happy Healthy Vegan. What's up, guys? And
Oh, look, they're here.
what's your favorite dessert?
I mean, I have to say Dole Whip. I have to. I feel like
Any
I'm
certain
gonna say
flavor?
Dole Whip. I really like the mango Dole Whip right now. But the thing about Dole Whip is I love Dole Whip like as because it's iconic and it's an idea, but like it's maybe not. It's my favorite because you sit there behind the tiki room and you enjoy the whole tropical environment, right? But you know what I really miss that's hard to find vegan is the macarons. The macaroon is the coconut kind, and macaron is the just the O-N at the end. It's like the sandwich with the cookies and the cream in the middle,
Yep.
like the fancy. Yeah. I feel like it's so hard. I mean, there are, there are like vegan bakeries that'll make it and stuff, but I just never get enough of those in my life.
The Dole Whip. Yeah, a sweet Marisa out here makes those really good ones. Bauhaus Cure says we went to the Ramen Hood pop-up in New York City just before. I was there too. I went there in February. And it wasn't as good as the one in LA, that's for sure. What is your favorite? Okay, so we did your favorite food, your favorite dessert. Do you have a favorite all-time movie?
Frozen 2.
Frozen 2? I need to see that now because I haven't seen it. So that's obviously your favorite. That was the next question, your favorite Disney movie, but that's that. What is your favorite? You already told me your favorite ride at the theme park.
Yeah.
What is your favorite food to get at the theme park?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say Dole Whip. Dole Whip for the sweet, and then for for the full meal. I'm gonna say either the Ron Toulouse garden wrap in Star Wars Land or the backlot nachos. The nachos I'm making tomorrow for myself, and I'm gonna eat them. I'm gonna make them on camera and then eat them myself, but eat them alone. It's gonna be great. But then I'll like talk to the camera as if I had someone to eat them with.
Bauhaus Cure wants to know, what do you think of the new Disney movie Onward? I haven't seen that. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it came out on Disney Plus like a couple weeks ago.
What's it about?
Yeah. It's about two brothers. I mean, someone did describe it as Frozen for boys, Frozen but two brothers instead of two sisters. But it's a very different story. The story is it's a story about the relationship between the two brothers. The plot is quite interesting, and it's something where the trailers don't really do it justice because they can't reveal the plot. The way the plot goes really is sweet and touching. So it's you can't really convey. Like I cried. I watched it probably 3 times so far, and I ugly cry. I cry where my face is distorted and I turn all red. That kind of crying. It's just beautiful.
So should I watch it?
Yeah. I mean, do you have siblings?
I do.
So yeah, I've seen your siblings. Yeah. So I mean, so I think anybody who has siblings will really relate to the story, and it gets you. It'll probably get you.
Oh, Bauhaus Cure also says it made me cry. If you ever played D&D, which I did, and I love D&D, then I would appreciate it. So I definitely want to check it out now.
Yeah, I played D&D.
Onward.
I was dungeon master in high school. Like, in some circles that makes you sound cool, the sentence "I was dungeon master in high school." In some circles, it's like, oh god, I can't believe you just said that.
We should play on a virtual D&D. We should get a few people to play, and you could be the dungeon master again. Because I'm always looking for a dungeon master.
I know. I mean, I used to know all the rules. I haven't looked at it in many years, but I could brush up. I would have to brush up because I'm a little rusty. But I still play Magic the Gathering a lot. That's like my guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
Anybody who wants to play Magic the Gathering.
Lots of EverQuest, which is virtual online. Happy Healthy Vegan wants to know, does Lisa find Kylo Ren hot?
I don't even know why you're asking that question. I think you know the answer.
We don't know the answer.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Driver's like, how is he so hot? And this is the thing, is that he doesn't have a traditionally attractive face, but he's just so magnetic. And then I watched that movie, The Marriage Story. It's like last year that movie came out, and it's just him. It's just like it's just a drama about two people getting divorced. And then he sings in it. Oh my God, he sings. If people had told it, it was like months and months after the movie came out, I finally was like, whatever, I'm bored, I'll watch it.
I think I saw that.
And then Oh, you saw it? Yeah, and he
I think
sings a
so,
song
yeah.
from the musical Company. It's a Stephen Sondheim musical, and it's the most beautiful thing. And he's so magnetic. Like, what is it about him? He's so fascinating. I don't know
Okay,
what it
so
is.
let's get Adam to watch this stream on replay so he can hear all the good things about him. He's
Yeah,
dreamy. He's so wide. He's funny. All these good things for Adam. Can we say some
yeah.
bad things about him? He
I don't think
can't.
he's vegan.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, forget that.
Yeah, yeah, but he's so you know what it is? He's like safe but also dangerous. You know how he's like a very nice guy? Like he plays these nice roles, but then he plays Kylo Ren and he yells and he has this deep
Yeah,
voice and he's like
and then he
intriguing because he can get mad.
and then what he does to his dad, it's just he's been bad.
Yeah.
What was the other thing I was? Okay, I'm going off on like just things. What are your favorites of? What's your favorite Disney character? Who's your favorite
Um,
Disney character?
Elsa.
Elsa. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty similar to Elsa actually in a lot of ways. I don't have the platinum blonde hair, but I identify with her a lot, especially in Frozen 2. This is why I love Frozen 2 so much, is because they did something with her character that is so meaningful to the way I've chosen to live my life. Um, so she was, the question was always like, is she going to get a girlfriend? This is the thing about Disney characters that is that if they're not partnered up, people assume that they're gay or lesbian, which is like, yeah, we do need more, like, there do need to be more gay and lesbian characters in Disney, but we shouldn't assume just because they're single that means that Elsa's gay, right?
Some people are
So
okay with being single. Yeah.
yeah, that's another demographic like that. That's also a way to be like being single and being okay with being single and not like looking for the one. It's also like a legitimate thing that needs to be represented in movies so that people feel like it's because it's being a woman in her 30s is like, well, you better get paired up, you're gonna get old, nobody's gonna want to be with you, you better find someone to take you now. And it's just like I'm tired of this narrative, and it's beautiful when Disney brings out a narrative, brings out a counter narrative to this pressure that people have.
Who was the actress that the press just came to and said, "Hey, I see that you're single. Are you like looking? Are you with somebody? Are you trying to meet somebody?" And she basically said like, "Oh, I'm in a relationship with myself. Like, I'm taken by my, like I don't need. I don't know. Maybe you guys at home know who I'm talking about. It was
It's
probably.
Emma Watson,
Oh yeah, that's who it was. You're right. Yep.
self-partnered. Yeah, I use that now too. Ever since she said that, ever since she came out with that interview, said I'm self-partnered, I'm all like, oh yep, Emma Watson. That's my. Thank you for giving me the term.
So what's here's an easy one. What's your favorite color? How do I know that's easy?
Like,
Maybe it's not.
ooh, I don't know. It's like the frozen color, the light
The
blue.
the
This
blue?
all.
I knew you were gonna say that because you got a lot of nice blues on your arm.
Yeah, yeah, it's everywhere. It's like, and I've always liked this even before Frozen came out. I just really like it's like also ocean color, or it's just very soothing. I find it to be a soothing color. So I have like
I
in
like it
my
too.
my hoops are that color too. My hoops are like the light blue, slightly turquoise.
I just had another one and I just lost it. What was I gonna say? Your favorite? Um, you guys got any questions here? I think we're coming down to the end. I was gonna. There was another one. Not your favorite. You just say your favorite color. That's the problem. I think of something and then I lose it. Um. Oh, have you got any like really cool, I don't know, like memorabilia or something special that you got from Disney? I know people sign stuff, but have you ever like been there when like a special guest was there, or do you have anything really cool to share that you could talk about?
Yeah, I have some stuff in the other room. Should I go grab things? You want to see?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you want, yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right, guys, it's just us, me, and all 76 of you. That's the year I was born, 76. Tropical rare fruit. we're really digging down to some specifics here, aren't we? Me, happy, healthy. We need to do another one of these soon. All right, let's see what let's see what she has here.
What I have is some stuff from Disneyland that I want to warn you that I would not acquire it again today, but I have it now and I keep it. This is an apple.
Oh.
It's does anybody know where I might have this apple from?
Can I say it or do they have to say it?
Yeah, anybody who has a guess.
Snow White.
Yeah, it's from Snow White. So it's not like it's actually from the ride itself. It's not. I didn't like buy it in a shop. It's from. It was on the ride, and then I have it now. And when I guess I was probably about 21, 22, and I was a pass holder, you know, going to Disneyland all the time. And someone told me that one of the apples in Snow White was grabbable. Like it's like the second time the witch appears and she has it in her hand. She's in a boat and she just has it in her hand like this. And they said if you get out of the cart and grab it from her hand, it's not attached. You can just grab it. And I said like, yeah, but won't you get caught? Like they'll see you and the camera's getting out of the cart. And they were like, no, it's allowed. Like it's secretly allowed. And lots of people do it. And they just look the other way. And,
so that's okay to do, but they don't tell you that you can do it.
It's not really. This is what we would say that like it was secretly okay, but it really wasn't. Like this is why I would never do this again today. But I did. I got out of the cart and I did this. But it's bad. I don't think anybody should do it.
Well, at least you're not letting everybody in public know this, so you're okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I have it now, but I wouldn't tell anybody to do it. But I'm not going to get rid of it.
It was in the witch's hand.
But this was over 10 years ago. So I was 22, right? This was 11 years ago.
It looks different than
I think it's plastic. You can see where there's actually like it's yellow, a sort of yellowish color on like it's where the paint has come off, and it's painted with a bright red paint, but it's yellow and it's like plastic.
Will you take a bite out of it? No, I'm just kidding.
This is this like an ASMR video now?
Oh, there there you could do a ASMR with Disney props that you borrowed from Disney.
Yeah. And here's this. This is from Pinocchio. There's a part where Pinocchio, he's a donkey and he's wearing this. But look, it's attached with Velcro. It has Velcro on the back.
That makes it okay.
Why would they put Velcro on there if they didn't want you to take it?
Exactly. So Produce wants to know, have you ever had any bad experiences at Disney?
Well, I mean, I fell in the moat at Storybook. My favorite ride, Storybook Land. I fell in the moat.
You fell in the moat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd that happen? Uh-oh, did we lose you? Connection error. Okay, guys, I think we lost her. Let's see if we can call her back. I'm not sure what's going on here. Uh-oh. Skype, why are you doing this? Skype has not been being cool tonight, and I can't seem to reopen it. That might be it, guys. That might be the end. We might have to do a part 2. Let's see if it'll come back up. Cancel. Boom. Let's see if this works. Maybe so no answer. Maybe her camera died or her computer died or something. I don't know. She fell in the moat again. Yes, maybe that's what happened. We'll give it a second or two, and then if not, then we'll have to figure this out later. I could always find out later and let you guys know in the next live stream. All right, so Disney, please heard her confession. Logging in. Oh, there she is in the chat. She's logging in again now. Okay. So I'll wait for you to call me back. 9-second delay. How is my movie? Well, as you all know, we are in quarantine right now, so nothing is happening as of right this minute. A lot of people are wondering, is it still scheduled to happen? Yes, it is still scheduled to happen. It's going to happen. I don't know when because of what's going on. I was supposed to meet with some people back in March. I wasn't able to get out to California. So, we'll keep you updated when we know more. She's being arrested. Disney found out. They're coming to get their stuff back. I'm a real boy. Call her number. I don't know her number. I just met her tonight. Do I miss her? Yes, I'm getting I'm freezing over. I'm frozen. She's frozen. She fell in the moat. Movie or TV show, Ange? Movie or TV show? For what? Are we talking about favorites or getting that apple? Yeah, Hazel. Oh, movie or TV show for the movie. Yeah, movie. Labyrinth, thank you for asking. Yes, my parents are doing just fine. Oh, did I just lose you? I think I just lost you on my end too. Battery exhaust. Wow, this is turning into quite the event. Let me put a new battery in there for you guys. Probably knock over all the monitors as I go to do it too. What else can go wrong in this stream from beginning to end? That's weird. My battery usually lasts a little bit longer than that, but what are we at here? All right, that battery was so tired, it took a break. Okay, there we go. Put that in there. I think I'm missing one too. We should have Jeopardy theme. It already happened tonight. John is afraid of people right now. John and I have an idea of what we're going to be doing. I'll wait for him before we talk about it, but we're going to do something hopefully fun. It'll be fun for us, so maybe it'll be fun for you guys too. Okay, Angie's gonna go finish her vlog. Thanks for joining us, Ange. We need to do one of these too. I had Ryan on, but I never had you on. Here we go. All right, let's see if this works.
Oh, are you still there?
Yep, but there you are. There you are.
Oh.
What happened? Did your battery die?
No, I have it plugged in, but the Skype, it logged me out of Skype and it said your account has been locked. it locked my account because of suspicious activity.
What?
And I had to go out. I had to change my. I had to go like go to the website and change my password, and like I had to send a verification code to my phone to
Do you
prove it
think
was
Disney
me.
is listening to you?
I don't know. Yeah, it was like I had to like redo my whole account just now.
That's crazy. Um,
Yeah.
I had problems with my Skype, as you know. We set it up, everything was going good, but then when you actually logged on, I couldn't, I still can't get this in here. So right now I'm only doing a screen capture, which it should be right in there, so it's not really the same. The suspicious
Yeah.
apple picking, the
I
case,
don't know.
the case of the missing bow tie.
Yeah. Oh, so another friend of mine, back in the day when this was a thing, when people were stealing the apples a lot, he told me he stole the apple one day, and the evil queen, the she does a lot of meet and greets, the Snow White evil queen,
Yep.
and he had the apple, and he took it up to her for a meet and greet, and he said, "Can you please sign this apple?" And the cat and the evil queen said, "You better put that away and not show that to me again." And then and she didn't sign it.
Oh, that's so. Did he keep it?
Yeah, he still has the apple, but he was that's pretty ballsy to like show the cast member that you took it,
I
you
took it, and
know.
I want you to sign it now, and you're in character, so you have to. But she didn't.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, was that a cliffhanger when I told you I fell in the moat at
And
Storybook
then
Land?
and then you like fell in the mode again. Like, do
No, this was
you
a I mean, I was. Mhm.
do you like the movie Maleficent?
I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it's not like a favorite that I watch over and over, but I think it's nice. I like it, but
I
I
like
don't
it.
have strong feelings about it.
I like it a lot too. Well, probably more than you just said. I've only seen it once though.
Yeah, I think I like Angelina Jolie. I guess in some sense, like I never really cared about Angelina Jolie. I'm like, she's fine. She seems to be doing a good job. But then when I saw her as Maleficent, I was like, oh yeah, she's an actress. Like she's really quite good in that.
Tell us about falling. You mean falling? Yeah, tell us about how you fell in the moat.
Um, yeah, so back in the day, I used to drink a lot. And then, uh, I when we the thing is we would just bring our own. This is how we would do it. We would get a bottle of like a clear water bottle, and then drink all the water, and then fill it back up with like clear rum, and then go to Disneyland and get a Coca-Cola or a pineapple juice, and then drink the top quarter of it, and then fill it up with the rum, and we would just walk around drinking rum all day.
Falling in moats.
Yeah, so it was late at night, and I was just really quite drunk. And then on Storybook Land, you all have to stand up together at the end. The cast member is like very emphatic about like, all right, we're all gonna stand up together. I'm gonna count to three, and you gotta pay attention because if you stand up unevenly, it's really not good. So I was not capable of following instructions, I guess. Well, I mean, I guess we were fine getting off everybody else was fine getting off the boat. But I kind of slipped getting out of the boat, and I fell where like I had one leg inside the moat, and I was basically sitting on the edge of the boat, but almost falling in, and my entire leg was in the water.
You didn't get
And the
hurt or
cast,
anything, did you?
I think I had some bruises. um, but the cast members were so nice. They didn't even. I don't know if they knew I was drunk or not. I don't know. They were just so apologetic, and they got me some towels to dry off, and they were just worried. Disneyland cast members, their safety is first. It's like the four keys: safety, courtesy, show. Safety, courtesy. What's the other one? Anyway, safety is number one, and then courtesy is number two, and then yeah. So they were just so like afraid that I was, that it was something bad. So they were just relieved that I was okay, and I don't remember feeling like ashamed for putting myself in the situation. But nowadays I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's probably not my best moment.
They want to know if you know any Disney conspiracy theories.
Oh, you know what it was? This came up in the chat last night too. I mean, I don't there are lots of ways to interpret that, but one thing is people like to say that Walt Disney was a Nazi, right? I actually have a whole conference paper on this because it does tie into German history. And Walt Disney was actually friends with Thomas Mann, who is a very important 20th century German author who came in exile in the 30s and 40s to live here in Southern California, and so they knew each other. And there's a history of Walt Disney interacting with different German authors, and so you can sort of trace what he thought about these things. And so it goes back to the animator strike in the 1940s. There was a union strike, and Walt became anti-union because he felt that he was doing the best he could for his employees, and they still were demonstrating. And it made him more conservative at the end of his life when he became anti-union. And so he was involved in the Red Scare, and he was anti-communist towards the end of his life. So what happens is that he ended up knowing some real Nazis, but he also had lots of Jewish people in the studio. There's not a clear-cut answer to that, right? But you can't say he was a Nazi. You can say he knew some Nazis, but you also can't say that he was completely, most people were anti-Semitic at the time. That's why Hitler was elected democratically, So he's not, there's definitely a gray area, but you can't say that he was a Nazi. He was definitely, and I wouldn't even say he's anti-Semitic. There's lots of research on this. So I gave this talk to a room full of academics, and academics don't really like to hear this stuff. They want to hear that Walt was a Nazi, right? And so I was terrified when they asked questions at the end of that conference paper, but they seemed to buy it. I think this research was solid. So
there's a really good documentary on Walt Disney I think it's on Netflix or something. Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it the Dark Prince one? It came from that biography, The Dark Prince, or I watched that.
I watched it about a year ago.
Yeah, I did watch that one. Yeah, I read all those biographies, all the books, all the biographies. So some of them are, I think that was based on one of those. So yeah, that's the thing, is that there's not a black and white issue with all these things. They didn't have women animators back then, but they did have there were black animators in the 50s while Walt was still alive. There was a black animator named Floyd Norman who's still alive today who worked on Sleeping Beauty back then.
He only said good things about Walt in the documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, and then more people think his head is frozen, cryogenically frozen, cryonically frozen.
Cryogenically. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's not true, unfortunately. He was cremated, and his ashes are interred at Forest Lawn in Glendale. He died a little bit suddenly. They knew he had cancer, but it was not. He was a futurist, so he was interested in cryonics towards the end of his life. He was interested in all the newest technology, and cryonics was a new technology that he thought was fascinating. And so he talked about maybe getting on the list at some point, but then he died quite suddenly. So he never got on the list. But I see where that rumor comes from, because he may have liked to do it one day, but he never got around to it.
All right. I mean, let's see. I guess this is not on the topic anymore, but what's your favorite, if you have one, do you have a favorite vegan documentary that you recommend to people?
I mean, maybe is my favorite one the one that I think is most effective in getting people to go vegan? I'm not sure. I watched Earthlings after I was already vegan, so it's hard for me to tell, but lots of people say that makes them go vegan. I watched Dominion when it first came out at the Animal Rights Conference, and I think that's good for making people go vegan. It's hard for me to judge since I was already vegan, but yeah, it's rough. But I have shown Earthlings to people, and then they don't go vegan after, and then I feel like I wish I hadn't shown it to them, because it makes me think of them differently. It's hard to.
How can you know this and be that way? Yeah.
Yeah, there are friendships where they asked to watch it too. There was a friend of mine where I told her I'd been vegan for 6 months, and I watched it, and I told her this is really impactful. This changed me. I was already vegan, but I felt differently about animals after watching Earthlings. It changed me inside. I was more vegan after I watched that. And she was like, wow, that sounds like it was really had a big impact on you. I want to watch it. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to make you. Like, I don't want it to seem like it's your idea. And she was like, yeah, it's my idea. And then afterwards she looked at me and she said, well, that's all very sad, but I like steak too much. And I'm just like, we're supposed to stay friends after this? Like, I wish we hadn't done any of this. Why did we do this?
Yeah,
So bad.
I agree. Well, I mean, that was, I have my friend Josh, who I've known for almost 20 years, that I've been, he's known I've been vegan all this time, and he finally went vegan earlier this year, January, after knowing me for 18, 19 years. So, I mean, there's always hope.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the other, I mean, all the health ones and stuff? I like Game Changers a lot. Game Changers is fun. It's really well made. And it's got a lot of eye candy, so, pretty good. Was that their goal?
There's a lot of good ones these days, and I like that they just keep that. There's a lot more in the works, and they're always coming out. So it's not like there's one documentary anymore. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
A few people are wondering how you went vegan and how long you've been vegan. We already answered those questions at the beginning of the video, so you might have to go back and watch those. What the health is good. I like Forks Over Knives. Definitely Game Changers and Cowspiracy for.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I would if I want to show someone just one documentary, I would probably start with Game Changers, just because it's approachable and it's super professional. Like, it's got the name recognition of James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, I have a video with Gary Yourofsky, his best speech ever. That's always a good one to watch.
Oh yeah, I watched that pretty soon after going vegan, and I just love that. I still watch it sometimes.
It's all relevant for whether you're vegan or not.
So. Yeah. Yeah, I saw he started uploading again recently.
Yeah.
Like 1 minute videos where he's just like yelling for 1 minute, and I'm just like, good yelling. I like it.
All right, so we've been on for 2 hours. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the stream? Do you want to say anything? Do you want to tell people where they can find you on YouTube or Instagram?
Yeah, so it's Happiest Vegan on Earth everywhere. So except for Twitter, I don't have a Twitter. Maybe I should do that. So the Instagram is Happiest Vegan on Earth, all one word, and then the YouTube Happiest Vegan on Earth, and then there's a Facebook too, just because you got to have the Facebook next to the Instagram, right? So yeah, tomorrow so that's why I went to grocery store today to get the stuff for what I'm going to film tomorrow is the backlot nachos. So look out for a new recipe coming. I'll upload it overnight tomorrow. So I'm very excited for that. So yeah, but find me on Instagram. That's where I do most of my stuff. That's where the hub is, but also my website happiestvegaноnearth.com. That's where the blog posts that are the comprehensive guides to Disneyland. And one day you'll be in the park and you'll need to reference what is vegan at Pizza Planet or what is vegan at Riverboat Harris or whatever location it is. And then it's all divided. It's all organized according to location. Yeah, so the website is where you find everything right now. Yeah. Awesome.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, and did you also hear how long they're going to be closed for? I heard it's a year now.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows. But Shanghai is a little bit of a model, Shanghai Disneyland. And they closed back in January, and they just announced they're going to open on May 20th, I think it is, or May 11th. So just a few days, Shanghai is going to open. So maybe we're 3 months behind Shanghai. So maybe ours will open in 3 months. If you want to make a reservation at the hotel or a dining reservation, the app will only accept reservations after July 1st at this point, but they could push it back. So the absolute earliest would be July 1st. But it's plausible that January 2021 it could go till next January. So somewhere in between that.
That sucks.
Yeah. But they announced they're opening Disney Springs, their equivalent in Orlando of downtown Disney. Disney Springs is opening up in the next couple of weeks. So that's the phased reopening where the restaurants and shops open up first. So what'll probably happen here is we'll get downtown Disney opened first, and then that'll give them time to test and adjust and see what will need to happen to open up the theme parks as well.
Let's hope for that.
Yeah.
Well, it's been nice getting to know you and having you on the live stream. Thanks for doing this. And everybody watching, go check out her social media. Go check out her YouTube channel if you guys are interested in Disney or anything. Definitely a lot of information there. So hope you guys liked the stream here, and everybody have a great night. Talk to you guys
Thank
later.
you so much for having me. That was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime. All right. Good